Boom!
DarkDox program. Digest. DarkDox. Digest. DarkDox. Digest. DarkDox. Digest.
Welcome to the February 20th, 2025, Thursday edition of the DarkDox Digest with your host, Christian Coffins.
DarkDox. Digest. DarkDox.
Digest.
Yeah! Where the hell did Data Battle Z get a flying saucer from? Is what I would like to know. Happy Thursday, everyone. Jake Newman is excited in the chat. There's only 4 of you. Where is everybody? They're like, it's Thursday. Thursday's a new Friday. We're checked out. Well, I'm going to jump right into it so I can check out too and start my weekend early. Open display capture. Designating cartels and other organizations as foreign terrorist organizations and specially designated global terrorist. Designating cartels and other organizations as foreign terrorist organizations and specially designated global terrorist. Why do we have to repeat everything? Is my question, because I'm going to read it all. By the authority vested in Donald Trump, by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, including the Immigration and Nationality Act in INA 8 USC 1101 et seq, the International Emergency Economic Powers Acts, and that's 1701. He ordered purpose. This order creates the process by which certain international cartels, the cartels, and other organizations will be designated as foreign terrorist organizations consistent with Section 219 of the INA 8 USC 1189, or specially designated global terrorists consistent with IEEPA 50 U.S. Code 1702. The Executive Order 13224 on September 23rd of 2001, blocking property and prohibiting transactions with persons who commit, threaten to commit, or support terrorism as amended. International cartels constitute a national security threat beyond that posed by traditional organized crime, with activities encompassing convergence between themselves and a range of extra-hemispheric actors, from designated foreign terror organizations to antagonize foreign governments, complex adaptive systems characteristic of entities engaging in insurgency and asymmetrical warfare, infiltration into foreign government and across the Western Hemisphere. The cartels have engaged in a campaign of violence and terror throughout the Western Hemisphere that has not only destabilized countries with significant importance to our international interests, but also flooded the United States with deadly drugs, violent criminals, and vicious gangs. The cartels functionally control through a campaign of assassination, terror, rape, and brute force nearly all illegal traffic across the southern border of the United States. In certain portions of Mexico, they function as quasi-governmental entities controlling nearly all aspects of society. The cartel's activities threaten the safety of the American people, the security of the United States, and the stability of the international order in the Western Hemisphere. The activities, proximity to, and incursions into the physical territory of the United States pose an unacceptable national security risk to the United States. Goes on. Within 14 days of this order, the Attorney General and Secretary of Homeland Security shall take all appropriate actions in consultation with the Secretary of State to make operational preparations regarding the implementation of any decision Donald Trump makes to invoke the Aliens Enemy Act 50 U.S.C. 21 in relation to the existence of any qualifying invasion or predatory incursion into the territory of the United States by a qualifying actor, and to prepare such facilities as necessary to expedite the removal of those who may be designated under this order. I mean, again, should have been done a long time ago. You are engaged in terrorist activities, and you're a foreign terrorist. I don't see why. But the New York Times is freaking out because they can't get that good blow. They can't get that good yayo. How labeling cartels terrorists could hurt the U.S. economy. Isolating U.S. companies from cartel activities could almost impossible, given that the criminal groups operate in sectors like agriculture and tourism, leaving some American businesses vulnerable to sanctions. And then they have the cartel, well, please, senor, don't raid my meth lab. Little shrine there for low scumbag, whatever he's called. They're going to kill me for that. President Trump's executive order designated American cartels and other criminal organizations as foreign terrorists could force some American companies to forego doing business in Mexico rather than risk U.S. sanctions, according to former government officials and analysts, an outcome that could give a major effect on both countries given their deep economic interdependence. No, we're not. We need very little from Mexico, and they need a lot from us. So we're not independent. It's not quite it's parasitic, isn't it? It's parasitic. You're a parasite. And I like Mexico. I like Mexican food. I like the country. The people seem very nice there. So again, it's not a slight against the Mexican people. It's the cartels, and they're a pain to you guys too. Trump's just trying to stop these scumbags from, trafficking and raping and killing and threatening and burning down and blowing up and shooting and stabbing. And the executive order, which Mr. Trump signed on Monday, is intended to apply maximum pressure to Mexico to rein in its dangerous drug trade. The designation more generally also gives his administration more power to impose economic penalties and travel restrictions, and potentially even take military action in foreign territories. Oh no, it's happening. They're rounding the troops, dude. Yet, disentangling cartel operations from U.S. interests in Mexico could be immensely complicated. Mexico is the United States' largest trade partner. No, it's not. We have to look this up. What are you citing here? Goods and so many companies have manufacturing operations there. Yeah, we're trying to put an end to a lot of that. For the first time in 2 decades, the U.S. buys more from Mexico than China. I really need to see those stats. I don't know. I need to look at that data. Census Bureau. Because there's other contextual data I can tell you there. But yeah. President Claudia Sheinbaum of Mexico, shown in November, issued a stern warning to Mr. Trump. That's President Trump, sweetheart. On Tuesday, we will always defend our sovereignty, she said. See about that. New York Times blasted for insane take on terrorist designation of cartels from town hall. Social media users did a double take this week on New York Times headline reacting to President Trump's recent executive order designating certain cartels as global terrorists and foreign terrorist organizations. The cartels have engaged in I read that. The cartels. Yeah, a lot of he said, she said here. Read a lot of that already. I can't believe this is a real headline. Insane. Libs of TikTok can't believe this is real. New York Times wants us to have empathy for foreign drug cartels and terrorists who are responsible for the deaths of thousands of Americans. New York Times is pure propaganda. Incredible how we went from it's just a few apartment buildings to the cartels control broad swaths of the economy. Good point. New York Times, how labeling cartels could hurt U.S. economy. President of El Salvador, they tried to tell me arresting criminals would destroy our economy, but instead it helped my economy.
Ellos me dijeron, textualmente me dijeron, tú sabes que no puedes acabar con el crimen de un solo.
Yeah, link in description. Meanwhile, Musk mulls sending all Americans $5,000 checks using Doge savings. That's a funny way of putting it. It is a dividend, which is different from a stimulus check, where it's like you overpaid. And in this case, it was money found from fraud from USAID and other sources. And when you add it to everyone in the United States, it's $5,000, give or take. So billionaire Doge head Elon Musk on X, formerly known as... we still need to say it. He would ask President Donald Trump about proposal on Doge dividend, which give taxpayers a refund check of $5,000 funded from the savings from his Department of Government Efficiency. Trump said Wednesday the plan is under consideration. And James Fishback, CEO of investment firm in Arizona, reportedly an outside advisor to Doge, pitched the idea of a tax refund check to be sent as expiration of Doge in July 2026, funded exclusively with portion of the total savings delivered by Doge on social media on Friday, and continued posting about it on Tuesday. Tagged Musk in a tweet on the proposal, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, we'll see. That's why, in addition to Cash Patel getting in, we might be getting some cash. And the Dems are freaking out about it, and that's really weird. Yeah, I've already read this twice. It's funny every time. Actually, read this whole spiel when you have some free time, or watch all my episodes and you'll see me read it twice. Trump floats idea to give Americans 20% savings from Doge cost cutting, which it comes out to be around $5,000. Trump has appeared to embrace a proposal on share a portion of the cuts from the U.S. government. Blah blah blah. Yeah. So yeah. Why not? Sure. Elon Musk and Doge need, Doge should be on here. Come in here. He's been so busy. Why Elon Musk and Doge need to audit Fort Knox and the Federal Reserve? Tucker
when
Carlson
I saw some kids at Berkeley and other schools getting up and saying, and the Fed, well, liberty is not dead at all. I think it just gets reignited, and I think we're at the early phases of that. But I also believe we have to go through rough tumble times, because the price always has to be paid. If you in a price in the sense, how do you liquidate the debt?
Holistic Empire. Hey, David
we can't walk away from that debt.
Well, how do we liquidate the debt?
The market will liquidate it. And the way the market liquidates it is what they'll demand is like the person that wants $50 hourly wages.
Yes.
You print money. And every time you print money, the value of the dollar goes down. So the value of the debt goes down. You just a theoretical thing. If you double the money supply and prices go up 50%, it doesn't work that way. But if you do that, the real debt goes down. So it's a theft, it's a tax, it's evil.
So you inflate your way out of it.
Yeah, and that's what will happen. Because what won't happen is the people are going to get together and all of a sudden said, Ron, you need to go back. And yeah, sure. We need to go back and get more people. We do have some very good people in Congress, but they're pretty lonely too.
Yes.
And they're very lonely. But I think I tell people, you're not going to get 12, 24, or 100 new members of Congress. The system is so embedded with bankruptcy and corruption that that's not going to work. But I'm still an optimist because I think where it counts, where the people are studying and understanding, and they were ahead of us. I figure they were ahead of me because they said, and the Fed, it's fiat money, and so they're well along the way, and it's more available now than ever before. This information.
Yes.
So I always figure that if somebody will listen, I'll talk. But like I said, I in a way do this for sort of selfish reason because I want to do it. I get some benefit, emotional and philosophic benefit by doing it, but never as much as I expected. I mean,
it's like 9 minutes or so on the Tucker Carlson Network. I'm gonna subscribe. Thumbs up. All right, Doge, get back to work. Some serious business here. So we touched on this at the end of yesterday's episode, so I wanted to dig a little deeper today. Who are the Zizians inside the radical cult linked to multiple killings?
Heartfelt condolences to Agent Malin's family, friends, and colleagues. The FBI is leading this investigation, and the Vermont State Police will continue to assist in any way they can.
These are our friends, our neighbors. They live amongst us. We respect them. We're glad with what they do. And it's just a tragedy. It really is a tragedy.
Very low volume.
I've always said that...
John Kennedy. A string of killings, including a recent murder of a U.S. Border Patrol agent, are believed to be linked to the purported death cult made up of radical, highly educated, and debatable vegan and transgender members of known as the Zizians. Who are the Zizians? A group is said to revolve around Ziz, who is a transgender woman. Ziz, whose legal name is Jack LaSoda, garnered a following online after posting about his ethical and social theories on his blog, Sincerely? That's what it's called. This was how Felix Ophelia Bauhaut, the German national involved with the shooting last week, discovered LaSoda. Bauhaut's friends Jessica Taylor told Newsweek she was interested in things like effective altruism and criticism of it, ethics, ethical veganism, mathematics, decision theory. I'm curious. I'm gonna copy that for later. The fuck is decision theory? Have you heard of this? Chat. A lot of the same topics as Ziz, and she had similar views on a number of things, Taylor said of Balkhawk. The Zizians have been described as a group of young, highly intelligent computer scientists. While their goals aren't exactly clear, they all seem to have written extensively online about radical veganism, gender identity, and artificial intelligence. This is what happens when you don't get protein. Just saying. There's like a general smugness. Huh? Right? A little bit. It's like, I'm smart. I know about thinking theory and stuff. Taylor posted on X, formerly after hearing of the shooting, saying that she knew Balkhart and calling out the Zizians. It's like, I want to look into this, but I kind of don't care. But like, I don't know. Just get to the nitty gritty. What do we got here? I feel just dumber as I read about them. It seems retarded. U.S. Customs and Border Patrol referred to Newsweek to the U.S. Attorney's Office on Vermont for comment. The U.S. Attorney's Office in Vermont decided Newsweek's request for comment citing policies of an open investigation. Just get to the point. The drugs used by Balcard, an award-winning youth math genius, like they're sucking these trannies' dicks in this entire article, and it's really annoying. Yeah, I'm gonna read more about this weekend because it's just infuriating to me. But like, they killed a bunch of people already, and this is a fucking problem here in the U.S. These creepy, weird mutant. So it feels like X-Men. Like I'm pro-human, and we have these mutants. It really, but like they're not cool this time. They're not like Wolverine and Jean Grey and stuff. They're these just weird, murderous, like crazy people. Rebel News, I'm gonna subscribe to them. They were on the Alex Jones show, and this is getting like no news coverage, but this is what's going on over in Maui now. Of course, the Maui fires, very similar what happened to California, and the way they're dealing with it. And it seems like a UN land grab.
I'm now on Front Street. Made it this far. This is my favorite house. It was. That was my favorite house.
Let's go! Fire to there! Go! You need to go, bro. Yeah, go!
Lincoln and Alexa, we are going to go to Maui. Normally that's a celebration thing to say. We're going to Maui, but it's not a vacation. Maui is the site of a terrible wildfire that has killed scores of people. It really looks like a war zone. It's shocking. And normally Rebel News doesn't cover tragedies like that. It's a tragedy, but it feels like it's more than that. It feels like we're not getting the full story. It feels like the political class is not as interested as I think they should be. There was this crazy moment when President Biden was asked about it, and he said, no comment.
President, any comments on the rising death toll in Maui?
Will you come talk about the Hawaii response, Mr. President?
It's disgusting.
Like, not even
I'm riding my bike.
Them. We're going to help them in every way we can. Like, you would think that would be the number one story in America and in Canada too. I just feel like I felt when there was that train derailment and explosion in East Palestine, Ohio, the one that looked like a big mushroom cloud and no one was reporting. And we sent Lincoln and Efron just to follow the facts. And it's a little unusual for Rebel News because we focus on Canada a lot, but this is a story that I think the whole world is interested in. And I don't think we've got the facts. So I would like the two of you to go to Maui, not on a vacation, the opposite, to work, to find out what the facts are, to be very respectful of the local community because they've had a horrific tragedy and they're probably extremely sensitive right now. They probably look at the corporate media as vultures. And it's important for them to know that we are the opposite of the corporate media. We want to be the voice for ordinary people in Lahaina, in that part of Maui and other parts, because the wildfires were all over the island. I think our purpose is to find out the facts that the regime media.
So yeah, this video is 11 minutes long, and I'm not sure if it was this video or another video that they were showing from this trip, where they haven't rebuilt any of the houses, and instead they have a bunch of like little tiny homes, little shacks on the beach. And it just looks like a little FEMA camp, like a little like COVID camp like they had in New Zealand and Australia. It's really disgusting. Yeah, this is part of that Zizian's ordeal, the killing of David Maitland. He was a Border Patrol agent. Yep. Link in the description to all this. News Nation coverage of the Zizians. I'll give you more of an update. We have a lot to cover. I just tabbed all this out. Al Jazeera covered on it. If you like what I'm doing, Scan that. Buy me a chicken dinner. Yep. Oh, we got an NBC News. Let's see what they.
Tonight, the alleged leader of a cult-like group linked to a string of killings from coast to coast, in custody, held without bail. Prosecutors say Jack LaSota, also known as Ziz, leads the Zizians, a fringe group of young, tech-savvy vegans who share an obsession with the dangers of artificial intelligence. 34-year-old LaSota was arrested in Maryland on Sunday, alongside Michelle Zajko, 32, and Daniel Blank, 26, and charged with trespassing, possessing a handgun in a vehicle, and other crimes. Authorities revealing few details of the arrest, but the group has been linked to at least 6 killings. In 2019 in California, authorities arrested LaSota and 3 others for putting on robes and Guy Fawkes masks and blocking the entrance to a Sonoma area retreat related to AI.
One of the organizers told me LaSota spoke with an intensity about her beliefs that were just very, very unnerving. And it seems that it was from these events that LaSota started attracting followers.
LaSota and her associates eventually moved to the Bay Area, onto 80-year-old Kurt Lind's property in Vallejo. As relations with Lind soured, things got strange. In 2022, LaSota's lawyer was told that LaSota had died, and an obituary for her appeared in her hometown paper. Just months later, Lind was attacked with a samurai sword, saved by his neighbor.
You can see where he got his hand on the...
These people are monsters.
Banging on the door. And he sitting there and he says, "I'm dying."
The attackers included 2 people who were with LaSota at the 2019 protest. One of them was shot and killed by Lind in self-defense.
Curtis Lind was severely injured. He was blinded in one eye. The sword, according to a witness, was actually sticking out
Hey, Mountain
of
Violet.
Lind at one point, like he was impaled with it during this attack.
Shortly after, authorities said they found LaSota alive and well at the scene of the attack, though she was not charged. On New Year's Eve 2022, Rita and Richard Zajko, the parents of Michelle, who was arrested on Sunday, were shot and killed in their Philadelphia home. No one has been charged for their deaths, but LaSota was arrested for obstruction and disorderly conduct in connection to the investigation, and a warrant was issued after she failed to show up for a court appearance. In January of this year, a follower of LaSota, a transgender woman named Ophelia Baukholt, died in a shootout with Border Patrol agent David Mayland, who was also killed. Days later, that landlord, Kurt Lind, was also killed, just months before the stabbing case was set to go to trial. Maximilian Snyder has been charged with the murder. An attorney for Snyder could not be reached. Snyder once sought a marriage license with Teresa Youngblood, a passenger in the car during that Border Patrol shootout. Authorities say the car was packed with guns and tactical gear. Youngblood is currently in federal prison and has pleaded not guilty to 2 federal weapons counts. Her lawyer declined NBC News' request for comment. LaSota's attorney not commenting on the latest arrest or the Zizians' links to those deaths across the country. In a statement released last month on LaSota's charges in Pennsylvania, however, he did stress that his client is presumed innocent until the government meets its burden of proving guilt.
Those who know them and are willing to talk to me about them are not willing to show their face, are not willing to have their name appear in any story because they don't know what these people might do next.
And David Noriega joining us now from Los Angeles. David, obviously some grisly crimes here. Have authorities made any additional progress on charges for this string of deaths?
They have, Sam, and they're also drawing a direct connection between the death of the family, the double murder of the Zajkos in Philadelphia with the Border Patrol shootout in Vermont. Specifically, Michelle Zajko, the daughter of that murdered couple, has been charged with purchasing the firearm that was used in the shootout that led to the death of the Border Patrol agent in Vermont. So these incidents do appear to be connected. However, whether that translates to prosecutors being able to, or even trying to pin some of these most serious offenses, especially those having to do with the murders on LaSota or Ziz, the alleged leader of this group, it could raise some pretty interesting legal questions moving forward. Sam?
In the meantime, the trail at least spanning hundreds of miles there. David Noriega, thank you so much for that.
It's wild. Bay Area Zizians cult-like group leader arrested. 2 days ago.
Well, the suspected leader of a group known as the Zizians has been arrested in Maryland along with another member of that group. Maryland State Police say that 34-year-old Jack LaSota was arrested yesterday along with 33-year-old Michelle Zajko. Here are their pictures. They're facing several charges. Now, the case of the Zizians was cracked open after a Border Patrol agent was shot in Vermont during a traffic stop involving two of the group's members. This investigation has revealed that the group may be linked to 6 states in 3 different states, including one death that happened in Vallejo.
That's so weird. They have like some Photoshop dude working at the news over there at KCRA 3. I'll give them a sub. They need it. I need it. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, Sacred Owls, on YouTube, where we do this DarkDox Digest Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Very sad. More leftist lunacy. Leftists on life support. DC search results for suicide skyrocket. Rasmussen polling expert Mark Mitchell posted a screenshot on Tuesday showing Washington's DC residents have been searching the term suicide on Google at an alarming rate since the beginning of February. On February 4th, a spike took place that has yet to return to normal levels. As you can see here, the word suicide on Google Trends is just going whoop since February. The trend signals establishment government employees are freaking out about President Donald Trump and Elon Musk-led Doge cleaning house in Washington. Just last week, Infowars covered Google searches for criminal defense lawyer also surging in Washington, D.C. Increased searches for lawyer, statute of limitations, Swiss bank, offshore bank, wire money, and other terms further highlight the panicked state of people living in the District of Columbia. Good. What do we got here? Watch Elon Musk being knighted at CPAC after receiving chainsaw for bureaucracy.
Here's a Millet giving him a chainsaw. Look at this madman. I can't wait for the headline. Musk goes crazy with chainsaw at CPAC. My God. Chainsaw. I wouldn't give a liberal a chainsaw. Somebody might actually get hurt.
That's cute. I heard some Sixers got kicked out of CPAC with like no reason given or whatever. If you're on X, Sacred Owls Unite. That's us. Trump blasts comedian and dictator Zelensky for tricking us into funding unwinnable war and blistering Ukraine attack. They actually banned Truth Social in Ukraine.
Not last, sure, and really, what we need to speak more, to work more, and to prepare the plan how to stop Putin and finish the.
JD, something about when JD Vance is like looking at somebody like, "Are you serious?" Gets me every time. Zelensky bans Trump Truth Social in Ukraine.
And look, it is what it is. When I left, there was no chance that this could have happened, but it happened because we had incompetent leadership at many different levels. But when you see what's taking place in Ukraine with millions of people killed, including the soldiers, millions of people killed, a big percentage of their cities knocked down to the ground. I don't know how anybody even lives there. You know, when they say they took a poll and Zelensky's at 4%, who's living there? You know, I mean, it's hard to believe that people live there. Their cities are being knocked down, and this is something that would have never happened. And by the way, for 4 years, it didn't happen. It was never going to happen. Go ahead.
How would you
counter the perception, because Russia's pushing for this, obviously, they don't really hold true elections, that would be a capitulation of some sort. How would you guard against potentially Russia installing a puppet government? And then finally, how would that new election have an impact on getting Zelensky to sign the rare earth minerals deal?
Look, you have leadership, and I like him personally. He's fine. But I don't care about personally. I care about getting the job done. You have leadership now that's allowed a war to go on that should have never even happened, even without the United States. Look, we had a president who was grossly incompetent. He had no idea what he was doing. He said some very stupid things, like going in for portions and all of the things. He made a lot of bad statements, but he's grossly incompetent, and I think everyone knew that. This is something that should have never happened, would have never happened. And I used to discuss it with Putin. President Putin and I would talk about Ukraine, and it was the apple of his eye, I will tell you that. But there was never a chance of him going in. And I told him, you better not go in, don't go in, don't go in.
Oh, wow, this is... How long is this? Wow! Wait, what?
Ed, look, it is what it is. When I left, there was no chance
like
that this could have happened.
Like, what are we doing here? Link in the description. A news conference between Zelensky and Trump's Ukraine envoy is canceled amid growing tension. It's getting spicy. Trump very frustrated with Zelensky for allegedly failing to take opportunity of U.S. brokered peace as it happened. I am working with Alex Jones. If you go to thealexjonesstore.com/DarkDox, I get 10% of anything you get over there. So it'd be greatly appreciated if you're going to buy something from Alex anyway. It's not going to cost any extra. Give us a cut if you like the show. And they got all kinds of cool stuff there right now. They got a Shilajit complex. They got daggers. They got coins. They got t-shirts. I really like the supplements. I actually do take the supplements. Doge, get back to work. The Atomic Defense is really good. CMOS capsules and gummies. Gummies are sold out. InfoWarsStore.com has their Survival Shield X2 and Brain Force. I don't even get paid by them, but like, get them before they might lose Infowars. It's still up in the air. It looks like they're going to win, but like, they're trying all kinds of stuff. Ultimate Gut Cleanse. I strongly suggest this if you're looking to, clean up your gut biome and maybe even lose I've lost a couple pounds just kind of by default. And then, yeah, it's good stuff. So, I strongly, I'm a guinea pig. I take this stuff, and I've been taking Infowars supplements for years. All kinds of supplements. I actually worked with a supplement company for a while. But yeah, they got lots of t-shirts, cool knives, and all kinds of stuff. And right now they're giving away a 2024 Ford Bronco Raptor, and thing looks badass, tricked out, plus $10,000 cash. And whenever you spend $1, you get 5x entries. Also, we got darkdox.me/shop. We got projectors, we got MP4 players, we got thumb drives, we got buttons, we got all kinds of cool stuff at our shop as well. Comic books. We got shop rags. We got all kinds of funky stuff. And all that money goes to me. So I actually make most of the merchandise myself. Trump and Zelensky trade barbs as U.S.-Ukraine relations sour over the war with Russia. Yep. That was supposed to be before those tabs. O'Keefe inside the Treasury, policy advisor at U.S. Treasury, confesses he knows a few officials who don't do their jobs and are defying Doge. No one's quitting because everyone's dug in their feet, claims layoffs are because all Musk wants is more money. Ugh. Why do they all look
There are people that I know who've been working for the government for like 30 years, and they don't do much. I hate to say it. I know a few.
Meet Nathaniel Johnson, a
policy advisor for the United States Department of the Treasury.
Basically, no one's quitting. Everyone's essentially dug in their feet and said, like, you're going to have to fire me.
The policy advisor for the Treasury declares that what Elon is doing is, quote, government-sanctioned harassment.
Every single federal employee got an email last Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday, that basically said, we're offering you the option to retire. No one has ever done that before. Two, no one thinks it's legal. It's not going to do anything, and it's going to fire the wrong people. It's like government-sanctioned harassment.
Nate Johnson says that Doge should not have access to the Treasury Department. He says due to, quote, risks to national security.
It's weird because it's like no one knows what they want to do with the system. This is like what I deal with, is like vulnerabilities, risk, and stuff like that. It's that person who has access, you probably shouldn't have access. You could take that information and give it to someone that they should give it to. Or they could give it to a foreign country. You can be American and you can still give that information away.
I also spoke directly to Nate Johnson. You say Elon is doing this because he, quote, really cares about money more than they do the country. Do you think Elon Musk cares more about money than the country?
I don't believe I ever said that. I think that there is a class of people in this country who care more about money than they do about the country. He's shown that what he really cares about is money. So in theory, all he wants is more money.
Why not speak now publicly? Why not talk to a reporter about the things that you told a stranger?
Again, I'm going to ask that you do not publish my name. I'm not giving permission.
Listen, I'm an investigative reporter. I don't get permission from people. That's not what I do.
I'm again going to have to ask that you please don't name me.
You're asking me to bury a story.
I'm declining.
All right, so yeah, that's at O'KeefeMediaGroup.com. They're doing great work over there. True Social. Rumble sue Brazilian Supreme Court over free speech. Did they get free speech over there? The parent company of President Donald Trump's social media platform True Social, the Trump Media and Technology Group, and Rumble have sued the Supreme Court of Brazil over the issue of free speech protections. According to Just the News, the two companies filed a lawsuit which stated Justice Morales has issued sweeping order to suspend multiple U.S.-based accounts, banned accounts, of well-known politically outspoken user, political dissident, ensuring no persons in the United States can see his content. Gag order. Trump announces he is considering giving... Yep, that was supposed to be over there. Gateway Pundit. Doge reveals government has over 4 million credit cards, resulting in over 90 million charges. From the Department of Government Efficiency's X handle, Doge. CPAC releases statement. J6ers allowed back inside conference. Stuart Rhodes responds. Okay. It is untrue that we are not allowing people to come into CPAC because of their involvement with J6. In fact, CPAC has been a consistent supporter of the persecuted families. Good. CPAC, please explain why my son was escorted out of CPAC yesterday by security. He had a ticket and is a peaceful man, which traveled all the way from Florida to show his support for CPAC and our country. Sounds like you have some serious explaining to do. Why was Stuart Rhodes and Enrique Tarrio escorted out of the venue after being given passes?
This is Cynthia from CPAC. She's one of the managers here. They're telling me right now I am not allowed to stay at CPAC. They are kicking January Sixers out of CPAC live. We are right now live on the Gateway Pundit on Blessed News. This is Cynthia right here. This woman is telling me that my credentials have been removed. You know, I did 900 days of solitary confinement. I was just released from the DC Gulag 29 days ago with a presidential pardon. And you're removing my credentials from CPAC. After I just bought a booth, 22 tickets I bought for all my Jan 6 brothers. This is abhorrent. This is horrible. We should not be being treated like this. This is horrible. Jan Sixers are being kicked out of CPAC with no explanation, no reason. I've spent tens of thousands of dollars to fly Jan Sixers, destitute people across the country to be here. How can
Sir, I'm just talking to you. I'm not talking about
you guys either
Just
put your
taking
hands on me
orders.
or get the police here? But we are live right now with thousands of people watching. Why am I being kicked out of CPAC? Why have my credentials been removed?
CPAC just decided that they don't want you here for whatever reason.
Okay.
If you want to contact CPAC via email or phone, you can do so.
Who has made that decision, and why aren't they here telling me exactly why my credentials
I am
have
the
been?
person that is in charge of letting you know. This is, and I have not said anybody else cannot be here. It's letting you know that we do not have our credentials for you today. So
Okay.
I have told you.
Why? Why did my credentials get
I'm
removed?
telling you what I can tell you, and I'm telling you that I do not have a credential for you today, and I appreciate you coming. And again, your booth is welcome to your staff.
The J6 booth is welcome to stay, and I represented and wanted to make sure that you pay.
This is 4 hours long.
Tell them all to
We need to
and Sixers are about.
So they decided to start firing and attacking people, and it was disgusting. They killed 4 protesters that day. I'm sure Jake has named them, but I'm going to name them again. Ashley Babbitt was shot by Officer Michael Bird. He was promoted and is still working with the Capitol Police down here. We have Lila Morris beat Roseanne Boyland. Officer Lila Morris beat Roseanne Boyland to death as she was unconscious. She was also promoted, okay? And we have 2 other January 6th defendants, Kevin Greason and Benjamin Phillips, were both succumbed from medical injury emergencies after having smoke bombs fired in.
Goes on and on. Portland Antifa's John Hacker sentenced to jail over brutal assault outside Oregon courthouse. Hell's bells. Look at that. A Portland Antifa activist with history of violence has been sentenced to jail and probation over a brutal assault he committed outside a Clackamas County courthouse in August, leaving a male victim bloodied and brain injured. John Colin Hacker, 41, of Portland, pleaded guilty to charges on Wednesday. He attacked a man in a fit of rage after his comrade, Elisa Alzar, a violent ringleader of Portland Antifa, was convicted of felony charges following a 5-day jury trial in Oregon City last summer.
John Hacker just assaulted someone.
In that chair. Oh. In that chair. Well, well, that was nice, John. Yes.
What happened? Who threw the first punch?
As I left, I said, "Hey, well, you have a good one." Tapped him on the shoulder in a friendly manner. He came around, threw a drink, and then fucking punched me.
Yeah, we're going to stand around here and look. What are we even doing?
John Hacker just...
Yale scientists link COVID shot to a rare, alarming syndrome that causes distinct biological changes in the body. It's called AIDS. Everyone has AIDS. Scientists from one of America's most highly respected institutions has proven that the so-called conspiracy theorists were right once again regarding COVID-19 shots. The New York Times reported on Wednesday that scientists from Yale University have linked the COVID-19 shot to rare and alarming syndrome referred to as post-vaccination syndrome. This condition was previously unknown to almost the entire country. The syndrome can cause severe symptoms including brain fog, dizziness, tinnitus, and exercise intolerance. Moreover, sufferers have experienced distinct biological changes in their bodies, including differences in immune cells and corona proteins years after taking the shot. In addition, scientists also discovered the vaccine can reawaken a dormant virus in the body called Epstein-Barr. This virus can cause symptoms such as enlarged spleen, swollen liver, swollen lymph nodes in the neck, and a rash. Told you. We told you. That's why it's good to be a pure blood. I don't need your shots. I don't want your shit. Revealed 17,000 Brits claim they were injured or a relative was killed by a COVID jab amid discovery of mysterious vaccine-related condition. Yep. Daily Mail in the UK. The burning platform. Yale researchers have found COVID spike protein in the blood of people never infected with COVID years after they got the mRNA jabs. Well, that makes sense. RFK Jr.'s Department of Health and Human Services officially defines woman as an adult human female. That was mean. I like RFK. Why am I mean? Because it's because all the leftists are doing it, and it's fun to do. It's fun to do. On Wednesday, the Department of Health and Human Services released guidance updating the department's definition of sex, declaring, as Trump had done in an earlier executive order, that there are only two sexes, female and male, but yet the Zizians still get called Zizer on the mainstream media. The guidance stated that the update came in response to the Defending Women from Gender Ideology Extremism and Restoring Biological Truth to the Federal Government executive order, which was signed on Trump's first day in office. There are only two sexes, female and male, because there are only two types of gamtis? Gamtis? Never heard of that before. What's a gamtis? Gonna look it up. Copy, tab, V, enter. Haploid cell that fuses with another haploid cell during fertilization in organisms that reproduce sexually. Why don't I know that? You learn something new every day. See, I don't know everything. I just know a lot of stuff. An individual human is either female or male based on whether a person is of the sex characterized by a reproductive system with biological functions of producing eggs or sperm. So as they said in Kindergarten Cop, girls have vaginas and boys have penises. 14-year-old Kentucky boy shoots and kills two home invaders with his father's handgun. Good for him. This is the Second Amendment as it was intended. A 14-year-old boy from Kentucky shot and killed two men who entered his home with the intent to steal his firearms. The teen, who has not been named because he's a minor, has already been released after it was confirmed that he acted in self-defense. The Kentucky State Police said in a press release on Saturday, February 15th, 2025, at approximately 4:24 a.m., Clay County 911 contacted Kentucky State Police Post 11 London to report a shooting incident within the city limits of Manchester. Manchester Police Department responded to the scene and found two individuals who had been shot. They requested KSP assistance in investigating the matter. Upon arrival, troopers determined that the two men involved had forcibly entered the residence with the intention of stealing firearms from a safe. During the break-in, a juvenile resident of the home discovered the intruders and saw them holding firearms. The juvenile, acting in self-defense, retrieved a handgun and shot both men before escaping through a bedroom window. This is really important to set legal precedent, because you better believe in states like California or Illinois or New York that they would be like putting charges on the dad for not locking up his guns and his teenage son was able to access them. But no, the cops let the kid go and give him a fucking medal, because that's a badass 14-year-olds. Want to buy him a chicken dinner. New York plans to sue Trump over ban on Manhattan congestion pricing. We are a nation of laws, not ruled by a king. The MTA has initiated legal proceedings in the Southern District of New York to preserve this critical program. We'll see you in court. What a bitch. New York Governor Kathy Hochul on Wednesday stated that New York City's Metropolitan Transportation Authority has initiated legal proceedings over Trump administration to move to do away with a congestion pricing. If you're not familiar, public transit is the lifeblood of New York City and critical to our economic future. As a New Yorker, like President Trump knows very well, Hochul said, since the first in-the-nation program took effect last month, congestion has dropped dramatically and commuters are getting to work faster than ever. Broadway shows are selling out and foot traffic to local businesses is spiking. Okay, well, that's an argument. School buses are getting kids to class on time, and yellow cab trips increased by 10%. Transit ridership is up. Drivers are having a better experience. What do you guys think about it? It's kind of like that toll lane, that express lane that we have in Florida, if you think of it that way. Pay a little extra, or you know, I-4 is free, but it's trafficy, or you can pay to go on that separate lane. I didn't like the idea of it at first, but I use it when I'm in a hurry anyway. We are a nation of laws, not ruled by a king. This comes after Trump wrote on Wednesday, congestion pricing is dead. Manhattan and all of New York is saved. Long live the king. Oh, Trump. Just puts his foot in his mouth sometimes. In a letter to Hochul, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy wrote that the Federal Highway Administration, which had previously approached the Central Business District tolling program under the value pricing pilot program, had lacked statutory authority to approve the cordon pricing tolling under the CBDTBP program. The cameras are staying on. She's sassy. BBC puts on distinguishing Hamas propaganda pantomime paid for by British taxpayers. Where? Do we get a cool video? I want a cool video. Here's a new documentary. BBC isn't available in your region. What? BBC iPlayer. How to survive a war zone. Oh, here we go. What? Well, that's stupid. It was raw Hamas garbage funded by the British public. Well, if I can't see it, I'm not going to report on it, I guess. Trump's goal is to abolish the IRS as layoffs loom, Lutnick. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick said on Wednesday that President Trump's goal is to abolish the Internal Revenue Service. Yes, please.
Well, think about it. Donald Trump announces the External Revenue Service, and his goal is very simple. His goal is to abolish the Internal Revenue Service and let all the outsiders pay. I mean, this is someone who is focused on America. Let's drive down our waste, fraud, and abuse. I'll give you an example. Cruise ships. You ever see a cruise ship with an American flag on the back? They have flags of like Liberia or Panama. None of them pay taxes. None of them pay taxes. Every super tanker, none pays taxes. Alcohol, all foreign alcohol, no taxes. This is going to end under Donald Trump, and those taxes are going to be paid, and Americans' tax rates are going to come down. That's what Donald Trump wants to do. Balance our budget and cut our taxes. I mean, imagine a Democratic senator going against that. What planet are these people on?
Well, you're saying.
Well, think about it. Donald Trump announces the External
There you
Revenue
have it.
Service.
IRS to lay off 6,000 employees starting today. Targeting newer hires, 3 sources familiar with the plans told New York Times. The layoffs come as part of a broader federal directive requiring agencies to dismiss probationary employees. Fire them all. Former Minnesota Viking dragged out of city council meeting by police after claiming MAGA is a Nazi movement. Gotta see this. I don't want a photo. He has weird eyes. Oh, here we go. Huh? Give me a video. No. Screw everyone. Give me a video. Whatever. I don't care. Trans-identified male wins Maine high school pole vaulting championship as state violates Trump's EO. What an asshole. 3 weeks later. MSNBC asks, who's going to take a shot at Trump? MSNBC hack Chris Matthews receives widespread condemnation Tuesday for asking during a live broadcast, quote, who is going to take a shot, unquote, at President Trump. Here's a clip.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of rules out there about how to behave when you're losing. But, you know, the big problem is that Trump came in this second time, with a machine gun. And he fired so many shots. He said, first of all, the people that tried to kill Congress by attacking the U.S. Congress on January 6th, I'm going to pardon them all to let you know where I stand. I'm with them. That was a pretty clear statement. I'm with Article 2, not Article 1. I'm not with the Congress. I'm not looking out for you guys. And when it came time for advise and consent, which there's a whole book written about, and it was a big issue, the right of the Congress to say no to a cabinet appointment, he said, you're not going to do that because I'm going to shut you guys down, and he did. So Tillis and Cassidy and Collins, nobody talked. They shut down the Congress. He said, I'm the boss. And he just said the same thing overseas. He said, basically, let's see, I'm going to have one of my guys over there is going to say that Germany should go to the right. Germany should move to the right. Now, there's an interesting foreign policy. I haven't seen that in the 20th century, certainly. Go to the right. And that's what his vice president said. I want you to accept the AfD, join the right, put up with them, not only put up with them, tolerate and use them. Bring them forth. Go to the right. Get to the right. You know, it's unbelievable. And then he treats little countries like
this guy's
Ukraine
going off the
like
rails.
It don't matter. Europe, like it doesn't matter. He's the big boss at home and the big boss overseas, and nobody stands in his way. And I watch the Democrats and the media, too. It's very hard to take on a firing squad. A lot of bullets coming your way, all aiming at you, and you've got to shoot back in all directions at the same time. Nobody in the Democratic Party can say, Schumer can't do it. He's a good leader. You know, Pelosi was a fabulous leader. But the ability to take on all the shots at once. Now, that's interesting. You know, Peter Baker can do it in the New York Times.
Talking a lot about
He's one of the
shots.
few people who can actually lead a news story and talk about everything that's going on and attack back. Why can't a Democratic leader stand up and say, what I just said, this guy's taking down the Congress. He's taking down the rights of the American people. He's the big boss overseas and back here. The big boss. Listen to him. Do what he says. Nobody's saying that. Chris Murphy's trying. I keep waiting. Who's going to stand up?
He's making a lot of noise.
Who's going to take a shot back at this guy? Why isn't Cory Booker doing it? He's got all the talent in the world. I am a big Cory Booker fan. Do it, Cory. Do it.
Uh-oh. I mean, these people just... He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Like the guy
well, there's a lot of
got
rules
shot
out there
at.
about how to behave when you're losing.
Grazed his
But,
ear.
you know, the big problem is that Trump came in this second.
Yeah, then you got this joker from yesterday. You know, these people, the left is unhinged. And they're just out of their minds. There needs to be stiff penalties for that. Ah, yeah, Rebel News, Truth About Maui. Is that the same video? Yeah.
Deal with them in a way that...
This is a take I never heard about before. The populist movement, the real story behind the Wizard of Oz.
The Wonderful Wizard of Oz was a children's story published in 1900 that was adapted for the big screen into a timeless movie classic in 1939. This American fairy tale has delighted audiences ever since. But why bring this up in a video series on financial history? Stay with me. If viewed from a certain perspective, first suggested by historian Henry Littlefield in 1964, this story can help our understanding of the populist movement and the 19th century debate over the gold standard. It's true. Well, sort of. While author L. Frank Baum has denied any link to contemporary politics in his children's tale, I invite you to take this perspective anyway, at least for the next 30 minutes or so. So sit back and let me take you first to Kansas, and then over the rainbow to the real land of Oz.
Some place where there isn't any trouble. Do you suppose there is such a place, Toto? There must be.
Dorothy's real name, according to this theory, was Mary Elizabeth Lease. She lived in Wichita, Kansas, where she fought for women's suffrage, economic justice, and temperance. She was active in both the Knights of Labor and the Farmers' Alliance, as well as the Socialist, Labor, and Populist parties.
Wall Street owns the country. It is no longer a government of the people, by the people, and for the people, but a government of Wall Street, by Wall Street, and for Wall Street.
She was a powerful speaker who worked tirelessly to build support for the People's Party among Midwestern farmers who were suffering through very difficult times. Now, the United States in the 1880s was undergoing a massive economic boom and was on the way to becoming the...
So yeah, that thing's a half hour long, but you know, they were talking about on the Alex Jones show how like the yellow brick road is the gold standard and the Emerald City is green because of money. It's the Federal Reserve, and how the scarecrow represents the farmer, and how the Tin Man represents the Industrial, Revolution. And interesting. I never thought of it that way, but yeah, check that out. If you're on Rumble, we're /DarkDox. And if you're on BitChute, we're also /DarkDox. If you like what I do, scan this if you're on Cash App and give me a couple bucks, bro. Appreciate it. And that concludes today's episode and this entire week. So we're going to go to outer space, and we're going to... Is Data Battles Z? I didn't think about it. Is he a spaceship over here? He is. Oh, man. I love it. Give it up to Data Battle Z for doing our intros. He's the man. He also does our YouTube shorts, and it is greatly appreciated. So thank you. And yeah, that's about it. So let's go back to SeaWorld, where I'm going to go to SeaWorld this weekend. I've been running all over the place. It's been a while. I need to jump in the waters at Aquatica. Hopefully it won't be too cold. I hope you guys have a great weekend. And that about does it. 9 in the chat. Very cool. All right. Have a great night, guys. Bye. Beware. Take care.
DarkDox Digest. DarkDox Digest. DarkDox Digest. DarkDox Digest.
Welcome to the February 20th, 2025 Thursday edition of the DarkDox Digest with your host, Christian Coffins.
DarkDox Digest. If you value this program, donate at cash.app/DarkDox.